record. All right, Bill, the floor is yours.
All right, thanks, Bridget. So I'm originally born in Montreal, Quebec. Basically, at the age of 17 and a half, I was kicked out of the house and sent to Alberta because I had already had family out here. So that made that transition nice and easy. Um, been married, got divorced, uh, met Simone, who you know. Um, and her and I have been together 20 plus years now. We both live here in Calgary. I'm the resident manager for the Exec Suite Tower where we actually live, and just recently started a new job, part-time ish, as a property maintenance manager um, with a company here in Calgary.
And how come you decided to take this storytelling masterclass?
Um, a lot of times, so part of it was I was kind of like a volunteer, but I was told to tear. So Simone said I need to do this and hooked me up, and that's why I'm here.
Nice. And you're going to be the first man on my stage, actually. I'll share my story a
Oh,
little
no
bit
pressure,
later
no
on.
pressure.
And we're expecting you to wear a tuxedo.
Of course, of course.
I was saying, actually, I might have to look and see if I can find a tuxedo somewhere in honor of our first man on one of my stage sharing my microphone, which, by the way, I have a new one now. This is going to
Oh,
be the mic that we use. Ooh, I gotta look. It's like super heavy.
I'll see if I can
um,
find Dumb and Dumber's orange tuxedo out there somewhere. I'm just kidding.
oh,
I'm
that would
kidding. No,
that would be funny. I was thinking like if I could find a pink one with sequins or something, that would be fun.
my goodness.
Pink tuxedo.
There you go.
Well, thank you, Bill, and
You're welcome.
welcome. I'm super happy to have you on board. It was like I need to find a guy for the next event, and then that's when Simone said, "Oh, wait, I think I have somebody for you."
There you go.
So
I
you
look
got
forward to the
voluntold.
pressure.
It's fun. And storytelling is quite different than public speaking, although it is a form of public speaking. But it's like you pick a personal story, and you guys are going to pick something that you really love telling people about. So it makes it fun. Miriam, tell us about you. Why are you here? What's your story? Tell us all about you.
So my name is Miriam, and I was born in Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. And then came and I did my postgraduate in Toronto a couple of years ago. I was there for almost 9 years, then went back to Saudi, and then came to Edmonton with my ex-husband. He had a job position here, went through a divorce, and I have 3 kids. And that was like a big battle. I just got like the news this month officially, and the custody of the kids. So that I was celebrating it, and big achievement. Yeah. So I'm originally a sports physician, and I did the shift and opened my own business in health and fitness. So I do coaching. Um, and that's like my main source of income at the moment. I loved it. So that was like I think that was the beginning of my story, the shift from leaving like the healthcare system into a different kind of healthcare provider. So I met Corey at the Blue Talks, and I joined him to do my talk in June, and that's where I met Bridget and decided to take this course so that I could learn to actually introduce myself. Like I would say my biggest challenge is when somebody says, okay, Miriam, like now, who are you? And then I'm like, okay, I need actually something better than what I'm used to saying. And then just continuing that growth from there. Yeah.
And do you know what your talk is going to be about?
No, none. I have an
So
idea. I have an idea. So part of me always suffered of imposter syndrome. Like I liked how in the previous meeting you said that I'm a brainiac. And I think that's a very nice definition. With all like the degrees that I have, I always felt that I was nothing. Uh, and that was like I had to go to therapy for it. And then that's why I have them all here in the background, because she told me, I want you to take them all out, put them in front of you. You are a doctor, you are a physician, you have to own it. And in my head is like, no, I have been a stay-at-home mom for as long as I can remember. I was the one taking care of the three kids. I always had like my ex-husband, he also was a physician. So if there was anything, any meeting, any courses, he would go and sign up. I would stay with the kids willingly. Like I was like, oh no, this is what I have to do. You go, and you do. Until he became like, he had like the highest position ever in the hospital. And there I was at home. And until one day I woke up and I was like, what's going on? Like, no, I am as professional and I did work and I did practice, but in my head, no, you're nobody. You're nothing. And that was my challenge, that I had to go and put myself out there and open a business and work with people and tell them, do you want to work with me? And in my head, I was like, okay, nobody's going to come and work with me, like zero. And it's been almost 2 years and I run like a business out of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fantastic. Now, where did you say in the Middle East you're from?
Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I was actually just offered. I was the first step, and then I had to turn it down because I have stuff going on in my life that I can't go away. But I was offered to go teach public speaking in Qatar for 7 weeks.
Oh,
with
yeah,
what
that's
with the I know, with the biggest natural gas company in the world. I guess they do a competition every year,
yes.
and
Yeah.
so they hired this company to come and teach their people, and that was that company. The
Mhm.
lady approached me, so I have to turn it down for this year. Unfortunately, I just couldn't swing it.
Mhm.
Being gone 7 weeks in the fall, but next year I'm like, I want to go because the
Yeah,
culture would be so
it was
different.
gonna be like a very good experience for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just actually messaging her today. I sent her the official. I'm pulling out my name. I can't do it, but next year I really really want to go. So I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Very cool. Tirza, first of all, make sure if you can correct me. Am I saying your name correctly?
Nope, that's correct. Actually,
Here.
you're one of the few people I've met who said it correct the first try. So, yeah.
Yay! Usually with the French accent, I screw it up, so I'm happy I got this one good. So, Tirza, tell us about, and you were saying you have problems with your camera tonight.
Yes, I definitely or hoping I won't next class. I think it's the computer I'm on. I had to use an older one because my mom's computer isn't here, but hers has like a camera that's like equipped and everything. So we'll be good for next class.
We will make it work. So, tell us about you. How did you find this course? Who are you? What do you do?
I'm 14, so I'm still in junior high. I guess my biggest concern going into this class is that I won't be taken seriously because I'm so young, which I understand. My life experience definitely isn't comparable to probably the rest of the people who are here, but I think that it's a good challenge for me to kind of look inside myself and find something worth sharing. I want to make sure that I'm not overlooked. And I think that because I like writing so much, this will be a fun way to do that. And, PAT prep at the same time. Story writing is a big part of that. So I get to do that as well. About me, I'm in Catholic school, grade 9, which is an interesting experience as a queer student, but it's going okay. It's nice being able to be there for other people who feel that they don't have a safe place, because I'm fortunate enough to have a safe place at home. and also to educate people who are a bit more ignorant, even though sometimes that gets hard. I am a competitive soccer player. I'm really excited to start the spring season, which is coming up soon. The snow's starting to go away, so that's great. And what else is cool? I have quite the pet collection, I'd like to think. I've had like fish tanks. I have one right now. Hopefully you can't hear it. The filter is kind of loud. I have a snake and hermit crabs, and I have a very large dog. I had a couple cats for a bit, but unfortunately they passed away. So that was hard. And I really like to create art of many mediums, and that's what I've been doing over spring break, which I'm currently on.
That's amazing. You know what? It's going to be so cool. I'm just coming back here. I had to find I had the wrong PowerPoint open. This is so amazing because I've never had a teenager either. So we're going to have, I mean, the idea of Stories Without Borders is exactly that, is having people from all walks of life all coming together and see how different yet similar we are. And I know that the other two ladies that are going to be joining us are completely different than everybody. So I love this. So tonight we're going to work on a series of questions to discover a whole bunch of stories. Now, I think Miriam has done this workshop before, but you are going to get you're going to still get many, many ideas. And I want you to leave tonight with at least 20 ideas that you could develop into a story that we're going to perform on stage. And to do this, I've put together a series of questions that will trigger you into, coming up with some ideas. So I'm coming back here and we're going to share the screen. All right. So actually, this is an old slide. It's a little bit about me for those of you guys who maybe don't know all the things I've done. How I ended up here was I created a company in 1999. It was a women's sports store. All of you, actually, I think all three of you are into sports, with Danielle Goyette, who's an Olympian hockey player. And by 2010-ish, I was trying to come up with an idea of a fundraiser. And of course, I thought about golfing or something like this. And then somehow I fell into doing a presentation for a women's fitness and health show, and talked about sports bras and how they should fit or not fit, and the health and all this stuff. And that gave me the idea that I should do maybe like a speaking show where we would share information with women. And I did that. It was, I can't even remember the name now. It was very, very long. And it was like, okay, that's good, but it's not quite right. And then on December 6, 2012, at around 2 or 3 in the mornings, the words women talk woke me up from a dead sleep. And I went, women talk? What is that? And I immediately ran to my computer and I searched the URL, and I couldn't believe it. Womentalk.ca was available, and I bought it on the spot. And then I thought, now what? I did this since 2012, so 10 years I've been doing story sharing. Now, of course, it's more like 8 because I was shut down for 2 years with COVID. So that really changed my life. I really looked at different things of what I could do. And as I was restarting my event a few months ago, I decided that I wanted a bit of a switch. It's still about storytelling, but I wanted to also have men on the stage. I wanted to widen it up a little bit and really have fun with it. I will be sharing with you some podcasts to listen to from a podcast called The Moth. And that's where sort of the idea of more taking a small story and making it into this really interesting story. Women talk. was more about these big stories, you know, murder and divorce and like really heavy duty stuff. And Stories Without Borders is really any stories that you develop and make it interesting. So that is how I got here. In the comments, you have actually you don't have this workbook, but it is part of your 3D storytelling masterclass. I'm just using the Discover Your Story workbook because it's a little more detailed. I love Rolf Jensen. He wrote a couple of books. He was a futurist, and he's a very interesting man. And he predicted that this century, the highest paid person will be the storyteller, regardless of occupations. Now we see this with me being invited to go to Qatar to help people become better speakers to compete for a position. Like the whole world is turned towards storytelling again. I mean, it's an old art. We've been doing it for thousands of years. But what I found is that, you know, the computer age, the information age became this thing where, you know, PowerPoint would be full of stats and numbers and information. And we as human beings will retain more information, will understand everything better when it is used through, and when we use a story to deliver the information. So that is why storytelling is very, very important. It really doesn't matter what you do for a living. If you become a good storyteller, you will move up and up and up and make more money. So we're going to come back to this next week, more about what storytelling is. But today we're going to talk about, we're going to ask these questions, and I want you guys to grab your workbook or just a piece of paper and a pen. And when I ask you a question, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, and you're going to fill in as many answers as you possibly can. So our first question of the evening is I am. So here is some example. I am a mom, I'm 56, I'm an entrepreneur, and then just keep digging. I'm a storyteller, I'm a foodie, I'm an Elvis fan, I'm fun, I'm bold, I'm creative, I'm a personal development junkie. So you don't really worry, like, is there a story or not? You're just going to write down as many ideas as you can. And then once the timer goes off, we're going to come back and you're going to share your ideas with everyone. And the reason why we share it, oh, it was delayed. And the reason why we share it with everyone is that we're going to help each other come up with some ideas. So tonight, really our goal is to come up with a bunch of stories, and I'm going to share with you an exercise that you can do a couple of times this week as well. To next week when we meet, you're going to have a big list of stories, and hopefully you can even pick the one you want to develop next week. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, and I want you to write down that statement, answer to that as many answers to that statement as you can. I am. And go. I'm going to put 2 minutes on my timer. And we are done. Just gonna stop this. I was just actually digging out because there's only 4 of us tonight. Usually we have more people, so we come up with more ideas. But here's other statements. I am a coach. I am a spiritual explorer. I am outspoken. I'm a listener, funny, group junkie, problem solver, golfer, positiveness junkies, Tony Robbins fan. I am bold. So here's just some more stories for you, some more answers for you to maybe trigger some ideas. So we're going to start with you, Bill. Why don't you share your answers with the group?
Yeah, this is actually a tough thing to think about yourself. So a couple of few things. I'm a COPA. I'll explain what
What's
that is
that?
later.
Okay. No, actually, what is a COPA?
So a COPA is when our first grandson was born, and it was back when we were living in Edmonton. He said to Nana, which is Simone, and Simone's daughter Danny, I have an old grandpa. I have a BC grandpa. What do we call Nana's? Referring to me. And Danny said, well, I guess we can call him co-grandpa. And of course, he was 1.5, 2-ish. And in his head, he heard Copa. And that's how Copa came about.
COPA. I like
Yeah.
it.
Thanks.
All right. So let's see what else is on your list.
Funny. I'm a golfer. I'm athletic, smart, quiet. And that's about as far as I got. I'm sure there's a lot more stuff, but yeah.
Home speaker.
I don't write as fast.
And next, so any ideas that other people are going to share, write it down, and then maybe you'll come up with some more ideas. Some other ones for me, some of the stuff that other people have said: a wife, a sister, atheist, fabulous, magical bumblebee. Unique, dreamer, curious, born. Yeah, all sorts of cool stuff, and I'll share some more with you in a bit. But we're going to go to you, Miriam. What did you have on your list?
Okay, just so it's fair for everyone, I had this list from the previous workshop and I just added to it. So if it's long, it's not because I'm a super hero or something. No, I would say 80% of this written before, and I added like maybe 6 points today.
And the very cool thing about this workshop is that every time you do it, you get more ideas. It's really cool.
Yeah. So now I did add like to it. So I got, I am a brainiac. I am a mom. I am a sport physician. I'm a neuroscientist. I'm an author in a medical journal. I'm a chef. I am a coach. I'm a subconscious imprinting technique practitioner, also a healer. I'm a CrossFitter. I love to do CrossFit. I'm a foodie. I'm an adventurer. I'm a hiker. I'm a mountain lover. I'm a nutritionist. I'm athletic. I'm a Spartan. I'm an entrepreneur, a road trip lover, a glamper. I'm a cyclist, an explorer. I am a fighter. I am a hope enthusiast. I am a friend. I am an imposter syndrome survivor. I'm a trail runner. I'm an obese who turned into an athlete. I'm also trilingual and multinational. I speak Arabic, Latin, and English. I'm a good listener. I'm a speaker. I'm a superstar, and I'm a queen.
I love it. That's awesome. I have other ones here too: intuitive, curious, fast driver, a learner, married, gay. We did that one. Fearless, Spiritual in training. Mentor, loud. So we're getting lots of ideas. Tirza, what do you have?
I gotta be honest, I was like thinking about this and I had a mini panic session because I like was thinking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I like have 5 things. I know nothing about myself. But then after that it's kind of kicked in. But I'm a sibling, I am a friend, I am kind of introverted, definitely more so over COVID. I'd like to think that I'm good at academics. I'm an AP student. I'm gay. That was one of the reaches. I'm kind of irresponsible, believe it or not. I think I'm pretty outspoken. I'm a creator, an animal lover, and a Queen fan.
And what was the last one?
A Queen fan, the rock band.
Oh, I like you. You're an awesome teenager.
Thank you.
Queen. Love it. Okay, and of course, as you get older in life, you get a few more answers to all of these things, but that definitely can be easier as you get older. So let me get back to my list. Um, so maybe we'll look at it a little bit tonight and see if you can come up with ideas. But in your workbook, actually, let me go back to the sheet. So you're writing your words on the left. And then later on this week, you're going to start looking. So I'm a mom. What's the biggest story about being a mom? Or I'm a golfer. Let's think about golfing. Whatever happened, did I ever get a hole in one? Or, like start looking at all these I ams and what stories are attached to this. And, sometimes you'll come up with this little golden nugget that you had never, ever thought of. So the next question that we're going to do is I was. So for me is I was blonde, I was a hockey player, I used to be French and not speak a word of English, I used to be straight, I was a responsible kid, I was a tomboy, I was a student, and I still am a student. So just a few ideas. So let's take a couple of minutes and see how many I was that you can come up with. So I'm going to put the clock back on my phone. Oh, and we're going to write.
Question.
Yeah.
So could be the I was, could it also be an is?
Yeah. It could be. I mean, you try to do something maybe that because I am would already have it,
Oh,
but
okay.
you can have it in both. It doesn't matter, right? Like it's just really these exercises are just to kind of trigger ideas
Okay.
so that we can pick maybe a series of stories. So I have another list here from previous one, and like I said, I'm using this because there's only four of us tonight. I was a kid. I was a happy teenager. I was a guitar player, an outgoing kid. I was afraid. I was silenced. Um, I was abducted as a kid. I was lonely. I was a party animal, hockey player, homeless. I think I said that. Skydiver and Catholic. I'm a recovered one. Miriam, let's see your list because I know that you already have done this, so you probably have a few more ideas that can help others write some ideas.
Yeah. I was a happy kid. I was shy and insecure. I was the only girl in a house of boys. I was raised in a religious, strict house. I was the peacemaker. I was a student. I was a tomboy. I was a dreamer. I was my grandma's favorite. Um, I was a horse lover. Um, uh, I was a picky eater, and I was a wife.
There you go. Tirza,
Um,
let's.
I I had a little bit of trouble with this one, but we got there. I was a ballerina, not a great experience, I will tell you. I was a guitar player for a bit. I was an only child. I was obsessed with dinosaurs. I thought I wanted to be a paleontologist, and I definitely was a tomboy.
There you go. That's a good list. Good start. What about you, Bill? What did you get on your list? Oh, you're muted. You were muted.
I am. I am. I mean, I'm kind of grayish now, but I was a blonde kid, blonde haired kid as a kid. I was definitely adventurous, a bike rider, a baseball player, amateur skier. I was rebellious. I was a troublemaker. I was baptized Catholic, lived in a Protestant neighborhood, and went to an Anglican church. So I'm kind of a mixture. I'm
You
a
were
Heinz
confused.
57 dog, is what I am. That's all I got so far.
Okay, so that's a good start. You got to keep working on that because we can get those lists way longer. So now, we're going to list all the jobs that we have ever done that we can think of. So this can be paid jobs, volunteered, voluntold, something we did only for one day, any kind of jobs or occupation that you have ever held. And give you some examples. I was a French fry maker, I was a babysitter, hairdresser, realtor, swim instructor. I owned a curve gym. I owned the physio clinics. I sold chocolate bars. I am a sacred gifts guide. I am a storytelling coach. So this kind of stuff. It could be like a paper route, volunteered at the hospital, anything that you can come up with. And we're going to give it 2 minutes. Now, this is definitely going to be a little bit harder for Tirza, but that's okay, Tirza. Don't worry. We are going to find the perfect story for you. I know it. All right. I'm going to pick on Miriam again just because she's a seasoned pro at this little game. I've probably got a big list already.
For now. Okay, so I was an intern, a physician, a research associate, scientific journalist, CrossFit coach, a mom, a chef, a baker, website designer, social media influencer, a driver, a sit practitioner, a healer, and a traveler.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, I was looking actually earlier in mine too. I was a waitress, a bartender, a clerk. I was on the Chamber of Commerce, some kind of position, swim instructor, bar manager, Southern Alberta Women's Hockey president, bunch of different things. Bill, what do you have on your list? With a few gray hairs, it should be a good list. Now, you are muted.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be, there's a lot on here. Don't realize
Yeah,
how
just
much you do
go.
over a lifetime.
No kidding. And it's kind of
So,
fun actually to kind of reminisce and look back at all these things and go like, oh my gosh, like look at this list. So you can just go right through reading your list.
so yeah, of course, as a young kid, I was a paper boy. The first adult job was a telephone caller for funeral plots, Swiss chalet cook, a janitor, a nighttime janitor, shipper receiver, banquet hall staff, a warehouse worker, an insurance broker, truck driver, drywall taper. I was a baker as well at one time, and a resident manager. And I'm sure there's a few more in between that I've forgotten.
Oh, you gotta have way,
Oh,
way,
there's a
way
lot. There is a
more
lot
than
more. I just
this.
haven't. I've popped on just the ones that I
You
remember.
did some financial stuff too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so put that on it because
Yeah.
and the idea is to just, you want to write all these positions that you've held because when you go back and spend a minute looking at them, there might be an idea, a story that will pop in your head from when you were doing this. Tirza, what do you have on your list?
Um, I back in like grade 4 or 5, I had like a bracelet making side hustle where I'd take bracelets I made at home and sell them to kids, like way overpriced for the quality I was providing, but that's fine. Um, I volunteered for this group called the Acadia Friendship Circle that my mom and her friend, who were social workers, started. I volunteered door knocking during the latest provincial election. Babysitting, of course. I was a daycare assistant, not too many times. The standard childhood lemonade stand pre-COVID, and I do art commissions sometimes.
Oh, wow, look at you. That's a pretty good list.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Okay, let me get back to sharing. So now we're gonna talk about, oh, I gotta share the slide here. Whoops. There we are. Uh, blank is the story of my life. So what I want you to write on here is something that keeps happening to you over and over. That kind of becomes a bit of a pattern in your life. So here are some example. Always telling stories is the story of my life. Always the loudest person in the room is the story of my life. Always blazing my own path is the story of my life. Always going on another diet, learning something new, getting excited about a new project, and messing up pronunciation is the story of my life. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes and try to think about something that keeps happening to you all the time, because often you can get some really juicy stories out of this. So always drinking coffee, always driving the car when we go out. You know, just try to see what you can come up with and get creative. And we're going to take a couple of minutes to do that. So, did you have anything pop up at you, Bill?
Uh, Nothing popped into my head. I'm sure there is something, but I just couldn't think of something that would keep
Okay.
happening.
All right.
So-
Well, let's go to Miriam and see if there's something that reoccurs. Sometimes, like it pops up, and then other times it's a little bit harder for people. Miriam, what did you have on your list?
Always and forever studying, always going on another diet, always faced with obstacles, always doing things differently, always afraid of talking, always drinking tea, always hiding being an athlete, always a mom, always in therapy, always listening to a podcast and audiobooks, always the helper and caregiver, always a multitasker, always doubting myself forever, always moving from place to place and starting from zero and from scratch, always struggling with the shopping, always holding space, and always a good listener.
Great list. I like that you gave me a new one too. Always like a new podcast, listening to a podcast or audiobook. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I just thought another one too. Always trying a new craft beer because I love craft beer, like new tastes that are different. And I love that. Tirza, you better not be drinking beer. What do you have on your list?
Yeah, if don't tell anyone. Always drinking coffee, which I probably shouldn't be doing either, but I got into it when I was in the height of soccer, when we had 6 a.m. games, it's fine. Always preaching, never practicing. Always trying to finish something as soon as possible, which kind of sucks because I'll be so into a book and then I'll finish it in a day. Always giving up before I really even start. Always getting attached too easily and always spending. I tend to spend money like I'm rich and not like I'm 14, which is a real problem. But yeah.
You are so amazing. I just love it. It's going to be really fun to see what stories you're going to pick, which story you're going to pick. It's going to be fun.
I actually
Okay.
saw some stuff from her, like always getting attached. I put it.
Love it. Love it. Did you get one, Bill? Oh, you're muted.
Nothing really kicked in for me. Sorry.
That's okay. Well, you'll get
I'm
some
on,
this
I'm on
week.
that other side of the gender, so it really doesn't. Just kidding.
No.
Yeah, no.
You know what? It'll probably come to you this week. You'll think of a couple things
Yeah,
probably. And if not,
definitely.
it doesn't matter, right? Because this is just to kind of help you come up with ideas. And really, your story may or may not come out of this, but most people end up with a really good list that helps them.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, it'll probably happen at 3:00 in the morning here.
perfect. Keep a pen and paper by your bed.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is what's different about you? Right? Like what's quirky about you? So, for example, I'm very competitive and I love public speaking. Some people think that's really weird, but you guys get it. I hate loud chewing noises. I love wearing Crocs. It's actually become a bit of a thing on social media. People are always tagging me with wild, crazy Crocs, like those ugly shoes. I always must know how to fix everything. Like I just love to be self-sufficient, know how to fix anything myself if I wanted to. I'm a personal development junkie. I love to cook and entertain, but don't touch my food before I plate it. I like to make my food look beautiful before you even try it. I love spices. I have a huge cupboard full. I will do just about anything to feel inspired, including jumping out of a plane. And I am a documentary addict. So that's kind of what's quirky about me. So let's give you a couple of minutes and see if you can come up with some ideas of what's different about you that, not everybody would be like that. So, whoops. There we are. Okay, let's give you a couple of minutes. I think I'm going to start with Tirza on that one because I want to hear what she's going to come up with. So, Tirza, what's different about you?
Um, uh, I, I I really love true crime. Actually, I think a new show dropped on Netflix. I've been binging it. It's been pretty good. I love horror movies. Whenever I'm bored in class, I'll do like really elaborate drawings on my hands. I remember one time I did like this full skeleton hand and I got a bunch of compliments on it. So I was proud of that. I'm still obsessed with Pokemon and it's been like 10 years and it's still my favorite thing. Um, I love spiders and my favorite childhood movie is The Corpse Bride. I don't know
Hint,
why. It just
hint.
is.
I love it. Very interesting. Miriam.
Okay, so I am competitive. I hate loud chewing noises, even from my kids. I love to cook. I hate onions. I love lifting weights. I am an endorphin junkie. I blush easily. I have a red face. Um, uh, I struggle shopping. I count my calories and macros. People don't understand it. Um, I don't like spicy food. Um, I like the taste of grape candy. And I have an accent and I love huskies.
There you go. Love it. And what about you, Bill?
Okay, so I'm definitely competitive. That's definitely on the top of the list. I'm an observer. I like to going to a function, party, whatever. I like to kind of stand back and observe everything that's going on. I do like to try and fix things myself. I dress chronomatically, meaning my clothing needs to match. If I'm wearing blue shoes, I got to wear a blue top or something like that, right? Um, I do enjoy old rock and roll music, and my number one quirky thing is I hate mushrooms. And there's a huge story behind that one. So
Oh, well, there you go. That
yeah,
might be one of them.
yeah,
Because sometimes, like, these little simple stories are really fun. Like, if you can develop them and attach them to something bigger, it's really fun. But you'll see, we'll work on that. Well, that's great. I gotta do a share. So the next one is, what's the 10 coolest things about you? What are the 10 coolest things about you? So for me, I own 3 companies. I played hockey for 25 years. I am an Amazon best-selling author. I am gay with 2 kids. I play guitar and still have my electric guitar that my dad bought me when I was 10 years old or 12 years old. I was in Bob Proctor's elite coaching program, his very last one, because he just passed away. I played tennis in the gay games in Amsterdam and fast pitch in the gay games in New York City. I won the Toastmasters International speech competition a couple of times at my club now, and this year I went 2 level up all the way to area. I spoke on stage in Hawaii. I think that's pretty cool. And I went skydiving, and I don't have it on here, but I was in the movie Cool Runnings. So that's pretty cool because it's a great movie. I just watched it again a couple months ago. I was like, that's actually a good movie. All right, so let's take a couple minutes to write down what 10 coolest things about you that people would go, cool. Okay, so let's hear what's cool about you guys. I'm just bringing it down here. Whoops, I got too many windows open. Okay, Bill, what's cool about you?
I've only got a couple of things. I do dress well in a suit, so I look really cool and classy. And I can play any sport with ease. That's about the coolest things.
Nice, and you do dress well. I have seen you in a suit.
Thank you.
Miriam, tell us what's cool about you.
So I am a mom of 3 kids. I was obese and then I became an athlete. I did not play sports competitively till I was 34. And after having the 3 kids, I then finished 3 Spartan races, a trifecta, half an Ironman, did CrossFit competition and placed second this year at my age group and turned my passion into my business. I left the hospital setting to become an Instagram doctor.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Finish your list, and I want to come back to that.
Yeah, so I lived in Saudi Arabia. I was born there. My mom was a Christian, Muslim, and my dad was a Muslim, and I was like in the middle of them. Oh, and I ran one of the Spartans in jeans because I lost my baggage just before the race, and I had to go with what I was wearing. And I finished
You,
it.
oh my God, that is hysterical. That would be like so awful.
It was.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. All right, Tirza, what did you come up with?
Um, my pet snake. I love him a lot. I was invited to the Crown speech at the legislature. I drive quads and ATVs, and I learned traditional butterfly dancing from an indigenous elder. And I won the fall cup for my team I can't speak, sorry, in a shutout, basically meaning that game they didn't get a single goal. So
And
I was
and I
very,
think, were you done? Sorry, Tirza.
no, that's it.
I think you can add to your list the fact that you're 14 years old and taking a storytelling masterclass and going to perform on stage. That's pretty cool at
That is
14, let me
cool.
tell you. So you definitely need to add that to your list. Okay, let me just talk about. We're gonna do. No, actually, you know what? Before we do this one, we're going to. Oh, this computer. Whoops. The computer's really lagging tonight. It's weird. We're gonna come here. And let me see. There we are. So I have another series of questions. And if you guys look at your book, you would see this. And what I'm going to do is you're going to pick one of those questions and tell us about it. So have you ever been the only single one in a friends group? Have you ever had no one to catch a movie with? Have you ever felt like giving up? Have you ever needed a friend? You ever learned a new skill? Have you ever had a patient teacher? Have you ever had a weekly date with a friend? Have you ever found a fellow fan or something you're obsessed with? Have you ever felt lonely? Have you ever been set up? Have you ever found companionship in an unexpected place? And have you ever realized that you're not alone? So I think I'm going to leave it up here so you can see the questions here, and I want you to pick one and then tell us about it. All right, so I'm going to start with Tirza. Pick a question and answer it for us.
I'm gonna pick, have you ever needed a friend? And back in grade 7, there was a really bad ordeal with my parents, and I ended up having to go and live with my grandma for 2 weeks because of like child protective services. They opened a case and stuff. And I remember going to school, and we were in the middle of an assembly, and I had to be pulled out so the woman from CPS could speak to me. And after that talk, they let me go, and I was kind of just wandering around in the hallways, and I started crying. And my best friend Salome found me because she had come after me, and she sat down and she didn't say anything, but she hugged me for like, we were there for a while, I think, but that was really nice. And she's still my best friend now, and I'm very lucky to have her.
Great story. I love it. What about you, Miriam? Which question would you like to answer? Do I need to put it back up? Do you guys have your books printed, by the way?
No.
Okay, I'm going to put it back up. So, Miriam, which question would you like to tell us about?
What, can I make it bigger? It's kind of
Oh,
small.
yeah, yeah. Have you ever felt like giving up? How about that one?
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about it. So, yeah, actually, I did think like giving up a lot of times. The first time I ever felt like giving up, I would say, um, when I was around 9 years old, I knew that my dad would not let me go in a dancing competition. So I gave up, even though I was chosen to lead that group. And I did the whole dance, like I intentionally did the moves wrong so that they would kick me out. Like it was my first time to like give up, even trying, facing my dad and telling him, hey, I want to go and I want to do it. Um, the second time where I was almost going to give up medical school, it was in just after we finished the first year, and I decided like, nope, this is too much. I hate it. I don't want it. And I was walking towards to the like uh, the principal's office to give them my I'm quitting. And then my one of my friends, she actually took me on the side and sat with me, and she was like, okay, you're gonna give up medical school. What are you gonna do? And I was like, well, I love to work with kids, so I'll just apply and become a teacher, and specialize in child education and stuff. And she was like, well, or you could finish medical school and become a pediatrician and then treat kids. And I was like, yeah, but it's hard. And she said, just give it a try. Like, don't give up now. Um, Stay. We are here. We're gonna help you. And and because of her, I decided to, okay, I will. It is hard, and we can do hard things, and maybe I should finish it. Like, I'm stuck. I'm here, and let's go and do it. I always wanted to give up, like going into the specialty of the medical career, because after you finish internship, then you have to go to residency, and then you have to do a fellowship. And when I had the kids, I was like, okay, now it's the time for me to give up. Like, I cannot do a lot of things, and I did put a lot of them on the side. But part of me, I think it's like my survival instinct refuses to give up. Like, even when I want to give up, she would not let me ever. And that was one of the reasons where I decided to, okay, I realized like this marriage is not helping me move forward. And it's either I give up on all my dreams or I actually fight for them. And that's when I, like, even when I decided, okay, I'm going to switch from the healthcare system, being in a hospital, to social media and doing my own thing. It was me not trying to give up on whom I am and what my passion is in helping people.
Love it. Great stories. Like there's kind of like this thing. It's kind of bubbling. Like you're just gonna come up with a great story. What about you, Bill? Do you want me to share the screen again,
Oh yeah,
or
just if you could.
yeah? There you go. If you can't pick one,
So yeah, the ever found a fellow fan of something and obsessed with it. Game of Thrones. I mean, I started out from day one, and then finally found somebody who I was actually watching it too, and we every day we just kind of talked about it and just kind of obsessing about like what's going to happen next episode. Um, the craziest, funniest thing about this though is that when Simone and I we went on our Ireland trip a few years back, of course we had to go to all the. There was a bus tour that took the Game of Thrones bus tour to all the like few locations that the Game of Thrones was filmed, and Simone was the only one on that bus that had never saw an episode. He, people were like, "You need to get off the bus now." kind of thing, because she never even saw one episode. So after we got back, and we actually sat down and watched the whole series together.
That is
But
hysterical. There could be kind of a story there,
oh,
like
for sure.
even though your wife has never watched one episode of
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, you can still stay married.
Like the bus driver almost drove off the road because he was like, "What?"
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Actually, I got the one this week, just a new one happened to me was, yeah, I was really struggling with stuff. And then a friend said, okay, we'll go see a movie together. And then we got pounded with the biggest snowstorm ever. She tried to make it to the movie theater, just could not make it. Like,
Yeah.
the roads were closed. It was really crazy. This was this week in Calgary. And so I thought, well, I could go home or I could just go and see the movie on my own, which I have never done in my life. I'm 57 years old and I thought, I'm going to the movie by myself. And it was a bit odd, but it was kind of cool in a way, like a little bit liberating that you can actually go to see a movie by yourself. And being the social creature I am, it's not my thing of choice, but hey, I did it. And it was like, it was kind of cool.
Cool.
Okay, so and again in your book, I should actually, I forgot to ask, did you download the book? Like if you look in the chat, you'll see that there's the link to download the book, the workbook. So if you click on that, and it will take you to the website, and then you enter the words, the password is story. And then you can download the book. And I would say that you should probably print it so you'll keep all of your notes in one place. Like just scribble all over it and use that for all your note keeping as we're making our way through the 6 weeks of training.
That's so that's a different website than what you had posted in the email.
No, it should be the same, but this is the web page. It takes you directly to where to download the book. So it is my website, the
Oh, okay,
Story
okay. 'Cause
Warrior.
I initially got this
Yeah,
from,
that's good. Yeah, so
but then
beside that, like on the other, so it's on the page, you have, that's the agenda for the 6 weeks, and beside it is the workbook. They're both on the
okay,
same page.
okay.
So the workbook, let me
I just clicked on the wrong thing.
well, no, you do need both, but
No,
this,
I mean, I'm just saying I clicked on the wrong thing.
yeah. So this is the workbook looks like this, right? So this is our workbook, and then it has what we did today and all the other stuff. That actually, I'm lying. That's the wrong one. I think I closed the one. I just want to show you so you know what it looks like. Sorry. There we go, right here. So this is the workbook. Are you guys seeing 3D Story Masterclass?
Yeah. Like I said,
Okay.
I clicked on the wrong thing.
Okay, cool. So they're side by side, and this one is like
Perfect.
50 pages. And we got a few links on there and a few different things. This is all the stuff that we're going to go through. So today was just the discovering part, but we're going to go through the rest of the episode. So let me get back to this little guy here. And I want to talk about pen dreaming. Actually, you know what? I like this guy better. And let me come back and share my screen. This guy. So the last exercise that I'm going to tell you about, we're not going to do it because I think you need to kind of be relaxed and do it on your own. But it's called pen dreaming. And this, you can do it with or without music. It depends on your brain, what you like. But what the idea is, I'm just going to, so you're going to get a piece of paper and a pen. You're going to be in a quiet place where you will not get disturbed. And if you are able to do it 5 to 10 minutes every day, you're going to sit down. Like I said, you can have music on, or it could be no sound. And you're going to write. So pick yourself. If you have extra time, do 10 minutes. Some people do even 15 minutes. You will put the timer on your phone. And I would suggest 10 if you can. If you have busy lives, do 5, but try to do 10. And for 10 minutes, you will write. Your pen can never ever stop moving. You must write for 10 minutes nonstop. Now, you're going to pick an object in the room. So right now I would pick, like I have these photography lights, and then I would start writing. I remember when I bought these lights, there's 3 of them, and I ordered it on Amazon. And then another thought is going to come in my head. Amazon, it's a little bit of an addiction. I love how handy it is that you can just go on the Amazon website and order. And then another thought just entered my mind right now, sports bras. That is my business. So I'm glad that I still have sports bras. I've been thinking about selling it, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Now, another thought just entered my mind. So the idea is to keep writing at all time and to not stop anything that comes in your head. Like even like my cat is, my cat just vomited on the floor, or whatever comes in your head, you just write it. And the idea is that you want to relax and let your subconscious come up with ideas. Now, you may say, I'm going to come to a place where, I can't think of anything. So if you come to a block, what you're going to do is you're going to pick something a list that is super easy for you. For example, colors. So I'm saying, okay, the light is white. I bought it on Amazon. And then I kind of go blank. So I'm just going to start writing white, green, blue. Oh, here's a blue bowl. There's actually these little plastic bowls in my kitchen. Oh, I love all my kitchen appliances. Stop sharing. So does that make sense with you guys? So the idea is to just let your mind, and this is actually people that write books use this technique, and it's just to really try to get your creative juices going. So your pen never ever stop moving. If you can't think of anything, then you're going to write your list. So I like to do colors because it comes easy to me. You can also write 1, 2, 3, but not the numbers. You actually spell it until another thought enters your mind. So there's 2 rules. You never stop writing. And the other one is you never stop a thought that enters your mind. Even though you haven't finished the first thought, if another one enters your mind, you must write about that one. And then after the 10 minutes is over, you can kind of go back to your list and say, oh, that's interesting how I wrote about this. And it might make you come up with some really interesting ideas for stories to write. Does that make sense? We're good? All right, so I'd like to go around the room before we finish tonight and get a feel for what story you think that you might like to share. So Tirza, do you kind of have any ideas on the story that you want to share?
I can't decide what route I want to go down, whether I want it to like really have like a very profound message, which seems difficult but worth it, or if I want it to be like funny. So I'm debating between a bunch of things that I think I want to try to adapt for adults that I've experienced as a kid with my friends, if that makes sense. Or talking about something like more traumatic that would be insightful and interesting. So I'm not quite sure yet.
Yeah, no, I like the idea. Actually, when I hear of you being 14 and how smart and how grounded you are, and it's going to be really interesting for adults to get the perspective of a 14-year-old. So, something along the line like, what does it feel like to be a 14-year-old in this world right now? And then you could have a bunch of little stories and some could be, and sometimes you can pick the big story, but you can add some funny stuff to it as well. But yeah, so think along those lines. Like you're right, you're an old soul because you're right in line. We haven't talked about this, but we will be talking about the fact that when you pick the stories, they have to match your audience. Who are you speaking to? Because a story you would pick for sharing at school in front of your friends would probably be different than the story you'll pick to tell in the front of my audience, which is mostly women and middle age.
Yeah. So it's,
Very
yeah,
good.
a lot to consider, which I'm looking forward to with this class.
Yeah, so all week you guys are gonna like be thinking about this. What story? And look at everything you wrote down today. Is there anything that's really jumping at you? And go back and read your notes and see what jumps. What about you, Bill? Do you have a story that you kind of are leaning towards right now? One or two, or
Um, I mean, I've kind of already talked about stories, but nothing's really jumping out. I mean, I did say I would tell you about the longer version of the hating mushrooms. um, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of little stories that kind of are jumping in and out. Just like you said with the pen dreaming, like my thought had just gone somewhere else.
very
So
cool. And
yeah,
actually, like from the things that you talked about tonight, like one that jumped out at me that I think could be really interesting is oh my God, I forgot the name of the show.
the Game of Thrones.
The Game of Thrones. Like it's
Yeah,
kind of because your wife is in there, your
yeah.
traveling is in there. Like it's got a lot of different component and your friend and like there's many different things that could be all mixed in there to make points. And so it
That,
could be an interesting one.
that was one that was kind of jumping out at me as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
A lot
that
of
could be,
lot more stories with that one.
yeah. Yeah. Like it has a lot of different angles that it could make it a pretty fun, interesting story.
Indeed.
Especially the fact that Simone had never watched an episode. It's like you can say, have you ever considered divorcing your wife because she's never watched a Game of Thrones? I did when a whole busload full of people said, get out, you've never
That's right.
watched it. Yeah,
That's
so it
right.
could be funny. And what about you, Miriam? Is there something that's kind of jumping at you today or a few couple of ideas?
Nothing specific, like to be honest. Um at the beginning, like I lean toward the imposter syndrome thing that I've been struggling with. Um but like I'm open to any of the things that like I don't know. I think I have a lot, but I just don't know which one to actually share it with.
Yeah, well, so from what you've done the workshop with me, this workshop with me, and I think that one of the stories for you that jumps at me is the overachiever.
Yes.
Like it's crazy, right? Like you're a chef, you're a doctor, you're like, I mean, on and on and on. So this is something to kind of sit because it could also be funny. Like you can put some funny spin in within the story as you're but like it's very interesting to me that you are all those things and so kind of sit in this like when did that start for you? Is there like something from your childhood that really sparked this? Or like that one moment that you can go back and think like, oh yeah, like that, I just wasn't enough, or like think about that, because I think that the overachiever, and I mean that wouldn't be the title of your story, but something around that and which is the imposter syndrome as well. It's probably why you do all this stuff, because
Yes,
you just keep
exactly.
thinking I'm not enough. And
Yeah.
like like I just think it's fascinating. And you could because when we go on stage you can have props, so you could you could have all your diploma and like just start the speech with reading them, right? And you're reading them and you put them on a chair and you read it
I
and
like
then
it.
you go and then you go
At the end, like
guess.
I never got like an actual like a contract in a job, like an actual, like I always thought, no, nobody's gonna hire me, uh, because I'm a multitasker, but I couldn't like get anything until I actually did my own job, like my own business.
It's very fascinating. Now, before we go, I need to know about this Instagram doctor thing. What the heck is that?
It's my business. So I started it on Instagram. That's
It's
my
super
platform.
cool.
That's my work. Like I just go on Instagram and I get clients and then I work with them.
That
That
is so
was
cool.
that was the key to life.
Very cool. Well, I'll have to go check your Instagram better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was great. So next week, try to come up with, a couple of ideas, 2, 3, 4 ideas, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what is a story, what are the components that you need in a story, and we're going to get moving in that. And I'll be sending you, probably during the week, I'll send you an email. I just actually got a text from one of our students. She fell asleep. So that's why she's not here tonight. But yeah, so start working. And next week, again, Thursday, 7 p.m., we're going to meet and we're going to talk about the structure of a story. And every week, we're going to do a little bit of story sharing as well and start practicing. So thanks for being here tonight. And I will see you guys next Thursday, 7 p.m. with like 3 to 4 stories that are possibilities, or just one. Like if, one of the story is it for you, then we're going to develop that one. And actually, all the little ideas that you've come up with also today, all these I am, I was, oddities, and all this stuff, revisit that. And on the right hand side of the word, write what would a story be about this thing? When did I ever get mad at somebody for eating in bed and the noise? Or, because you might come up with some funny ideas from it, or all the jobs or whatever. So let's work this week on coming up with the story and a bunch of other little ones.
Cool.
Thank
Nice to
you
meet
for
you
being
all.
here.
Take care.
Thank you so
And I
much.
will
It was
see
nice
you.
to meet you both.
Perfect. We'll see you next week. Bye.